Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial we're finally gonna use the beautiful cotton lace that I already showed you sometime. This is what it looks like. I think you can look through it now. It's very nice and we're finally gonna make a dress out of it. So welcome back, and if you're new on my channel, welcome. We make every week a garment of things that I see in the shops. I call it make what you see in the shops because I pick photos of things that I really like, that I would like to buy. But instead of buying, I'm gonna make it myself. And I show you how you can make the pattern for making it. You can make it to your own sizing, so it doesn't matter what size you have or what body type. You make your pattern to your sizing, and I teach you that every week again. So every week you get a new pattern to make and to sew a garment from. And so that's every week a new piece to add to your collection for your patterns, and you can use it over and over again. So I hope you like it. We'll start with this dress. And if you like my videos, please subscribe, please share them, and please give me a like if you enjoy them. And let's go on to the tutorial. So for my inspiration, I have lots of screenshots that I make, and I see now that they all are from Josie from Fashion Mumbler. So I will link her channel down below because I really like her style. She has the same style as I have, so I see a lot of clothing on her channel that I really like to recreate. And these dresses are all white, and they are all a combination of fabric and ribbon, or bands of different lace. And I like it very much. The combination, it gives a very nice and different look than when you have just one plain white dress. So I'm gonna do that too with my lace, combining it with some ribbons of lace or of fabric. I like a v-neck for sure, so we're gonna make a v-neck. I'm also tempted to do a sort of web style, but I'm sure I'm always going to that, and I want to make something different now. I'm not really a fan of the shirt dress as the white dress has. I think it's more masculine. I'm more of the feminine style. So we certainly make it. I will certainly make it midi length, but you can make it any length you like, of course. But it will certainly be the what's the word? The together with the fabric and the ribbons going up and down. So we make a like the second one has that ribbon halfway the skirt, or a ribbon halfway the sleeves, or something like that. I like that very much. And because I'm not really sure how to make it, I think I'm gonna drape it on my mannequin to see when my fabric looks the best, because I have a different fabric than these dresses, so you always have to see what this fabric does with you. So I'm gonna do that first. So I draped my fabric on my mannequin, and as you see, I folded the mid-front open as lapels, and I think that looks really nice, because then you have something different in that v-neck that I wanted something, but I didn't know what. But I like how it looks like this. One of the ribbons that are more dense around the waist, and I like that very much too. So I think I'm going to use that for the waist, and we have that combination of ribbon and lace at the waist. I think I like the width of this now. This is half the fabric on the front, and when you tie it with that ribbon, it looks very nice. And you see I have also another some other ribbons to use, and they are all very different, so I can choose what to do with them. Some are some more fabric, some are less, so I can just choose whatever I want to use where. And I think I will use one for the sleeves, and along the v-neck, or along the lapels, I think I will use some ribbon. So I will make a drawing out of it, and I'll show you how I want to make it. You saw how I draped the fabric on my mannequin. That is just about how it's gonna be. So I'm gonna flip the parts from the mid-front open, so that it's a sort of a sleeve. The sleeve, is the right one? No, a collar. And then you got not really a wrap, not really a crossover, but just at the waist it's gonna go over. And I have to see if I have to close this up with buttons or maybe I'll just sew it down, or maybe it just stays like that. I'll see how it is when we are there. I decided to make that ribbon that I tied around the mannequin. I'm gonna sew that on here on the front part, so that is the split between the top and the bottom, the top and the skirt. So that is attached until the side seams. Then for the back it will be loose, so the back will be, the ribbon will be a tie. So it's just loose from the side seams and you can tie it in the mid back. And the skirt on the back will be secured on the top with elastic on it. So this is a stretchy part, so the top will be a bit wider and the skirt will be certainly a bit wider, and that makes that I don't need a zipper or buttons or whatever to open up the dress. So maybe I need here some buttons to close it up, that this not falls open too much, but we don't need it to get in and out the dress, because this is open and you get here your width to put it over your head or to step in the dress. Then I want on the sides the finishing of this collar and also of the skirt. I want to put this ribbon on top of it, so on the sides. It's a very nice ribbon with crisscross in between, and it gives some bit more on the dress. And if I have enough, but I don't think that I have, I will use that for the sleeves too. If I don't have enough, I have also this leather ribbon, and it's also very nice to use to just have a cut in the sleeves, that you have here the lace, there the lace, and then just this ribbon in between. And the sleeves are just normal with sleeves here, and the cuff is a bit going out, so a bit wider along the arms, and I make them again 3/4 sleeves. You know, I like that when it's just somewhat halfway your underarm. I like that length very much. The back is just around the neck, so we just, I think I'll just use bias tape or something to finish the neckline. So that will be the dress with 3 different kinds of ribbon. And of course, because lace is very see-through, I'm gonna line it a bit, and that means I will give the top part a sort of tank top lining, and the skirt I will give just lining until well, halfway the upper leg, I think. So I put my green cutting mat underneath so that you can see it better. The white on white is not that clear, I think. So I pinned out, because I had this put on my mannequin, I pinned out how I wanted the top parts to be. And when you use the basic pattern that I have a tutorial of, I will link it down below, you can see that it is just the same. The only thing is I wanted to have this part folded over, that this border is nicely visible. And that's why I just wanted to map it out on my mannequin and not on my basic pattern. But when I put my basic pattern on, you'll see you have here a V-neck, so it should be a little bit slanted. And you need here somewhat overlap over the other side. And then I just took it till my armhole and just flared it out a little bit. It should have been straight on. It doesn't have to flare out, because this fabric is very stretchy, you see it, so I don't need more width in my top than the basic pattern has. So you can do it, but with my fabric I don't have to, because it's very stretchy. So watch how your fabric acts, and if you need some more width, or you want some more width maybe because you want it more loose fitting. But these are my 2 front parts from the top. Then I have my back part. I'll fold it double, and it's better to see, I think. And that is just to straight the basic top pattern, but not with the curve. Not with the curve to the waist, but just straight down. And of course with your back neckline. So that is the back for the top on the fold, of course. Then I have my sleeve, and what I did, I used my sleeve from the former video of the ruffle dress, because then we made a sleeve and I thought, well, I can use that. What I did is I folded a bit in because I wanted lower, shorter, and I folded the sides in because I want the part on where it ends, I want it smaller than we did on the waffle dress, because there we took elastic to cinch it in. Now I want to be more smaller on the bottom, or not the bottom, is halfway, and then I want to put some ribbon in between. It will be this one if I have enough, and otherwise it will be this one. And then underneath that I made a sort of cuff to put underneath that ribbon, like that, and that is just a pattern matching this sizing. So it's a little bit slanted out so that it will be a little bit wider on the bottom. And if you don't have the pattern from the waffle dress, you can very easily draw this yourself by taking your basic pattern from the top, take your measuring tape and measure out how wide your armhole is. And this one is 25. Then you lay down your paper and make somewhat a curve like this with your measuring tape, and then make sure that till the middle, from the side to the middle, is the 25 that we just measured, and then place it in a nice curve that it has this kind of curve. It doesn't have to be exact because your fabric is stretchy, so you can have a give here and there, but make somewhat a curve like this. Then you have a nicely folding sleeve. And then I made mine till just below or on top of my elbow. There I want my ribbon to be, and then I have to cuff underneath so that my sleeve will end halfway my underarm. I think that's as nicest with this fabric. And then with the left fabric that I had, I just used that for the front and the back skirt. They will be different, of course, because the back one I'm gonna cinch in with some elastic when I attach it to the back part from the top, and the front will have the overlap just a little bit, not really overlapping, but just a little bit. So I have to cut one of these parts. I have two, of course. I have to cut one. This is not cut through. To cut it in two pieces. And I think that for that part that is overlapping, I will use that nicer finished hem, and then I can put my ribbon also on the top part that is overlapping, and I think that will look very nice. So we have the pattern and the cutting in one, so we can start sewing now. So I sewed the ribbon on the front pieces and also on the front skirt pieces, so that was nicely enough. I had some left, so that's not enough for the sleeves, so for the sleeves I have to take the other ribbon. Now what I'll do is I'm gonna sew the shoulder seams, so that means we put the back part on top of the two front pieces, and then we're gonna sew both the shoulder pieces, and then what I do, I'm gonna pin the whole dress together except for the sleeves. So that means I make the skirts, the front and the back parts of the skirts on the front and the back of the top, and I'm gonna sew the side seams. And I do that because then I can see if I can get out of the dress without putting a zipper or buttons on, because then I have to think about it first. And I also can see I cut the skirt, and I cut the skirt just as a straight rectangle, and that is not always the nicest. And with this fabric I'm not really sure, maybe I could better flare it out than that it is wide also on the top. And when I'll pin them all together, I can see how it falls and how it looks when I use this whole width of fabric, and if it's nice when I what's called this, when you put it like this, if that's nice, or that I better make it smaller and flare it out. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pin the whole dress, and then I'll come back and tell you what I saw and what I'm gonna do for the next step. But first I'm gonna sew my shoulder seams, because that I can do now already. And before I'm gonna sew the shoulder seams, I'm first gonna finish the neckline from the back, because the neckline of the front is already finished with the ribbon. And then I can nicely finish the shoulder seams when this is ready too. So I'm gonna do this first. So I tried the dress on and it looks really nice. I'm very happy because I have this fabric for so long. I really want this to work out the way I want it. So what I'm gonna do, I saw that I can take the overlap on the top a little bit more so that it can be the same and aligned with the bottoms, with the skirt. So I'm gonna give that a bit more. I can easily get in and out, so that's no problem at all. Then I'm gonna gather my skirt. I don't taper them in as I said that I would look for. I just can leave it like this with just the straight side seams. It looks very nice like this. So I keep the width of the top of the skirt, so I'm gonna gather that in so that it's matching the width of the top part. Also for the back and the extra width that I have, I'm gonna gather it in, and then I'll give it some elastic that the waist is really matching my waist, my own waist, because it's now wider than that I am, and because of this fabric is very stretchy, it is even more wide than it has to be. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna continue sewing. I could take this apart. I'll gather the top of the skirt for the front and for the back. Make this the way it should be, a little bit more on the top so that these two are aligned. We cannot see that when it's finished, but I think it looks more nice because when those two are attached, I'm gonna sew on this band, and that will be attached to the dress from the side seam to the other side seam, and then the back parts will stay loose so that you can tie them together in the mid back. So we're going to attach the skirts to the bottom for the front and the dress, and then we also can sew the side seams, and then I'll come back for the sleeves. I just gathered and sewed on the front part of the dress. Now I'm gonna do the back part. This is the skirt, underneath is the top, and I do the same as I did with my ruffle dress. Because this is lace, it's very difficult to gather it with the sewing machine because it's all holes and things, so with the thread it's not really easy to gather. So what I do is I pin the sides and the mid, and then I take the half of it, of the most length, and I pin it to the mid of the piece underneath it, and then again with this part take the mid and pin it to the mid of your underneath part, and then you get your fabric nicely aligned with all the pieces. And when you can pin not any longer, then you just do it while sewing. You gather the fabric when you sew and you just pinch it in every piece that you come when you are sewing, and it's a very easy way to gather your fabric when you cannot do it with a thread. So now I'm going to sew my side seams because I have my top and my skirt for the front and the back sewn together. Make sure that your waistline is aligned for the front and the back, so pin that first and then go over to the top and then all the way to the hem. And of course you notice that I didn't make pockets. And I did that on purpose, of course, because when you make pockets in such a sheer and open fabric, you can see the pockets from the outside, and that really doesn't look nice. So now I have to compromise by making no pockets in my dress, because I really don't think that is nice on this fabric, because you can see right through it because all these holes. So compromise for the beauty. We're gonna continue with the sleeves, and I have this nice leather ribbon that we put in between the sleeve and the cuff. And what you should do is the sleeve should be on top of this part of the ribbon, and the cuff on top of this part. So we put them right sides together, and I pin them as close as I can to the embroidered part, and then sew it on, and the same for the other part. And when you've pinned it on, it looks like something like this. So it looks really nice with that open part in between. So I'm gonna sew that on, and then we also can close the sleeve by folding a double, and then sew the sleeve seam. So the sleeves are sewn, looking very nice. So we're going to put them right side out into the dress that is right side in, so that when I put the sleeves in, it's right sides together. Mark where the mid of your sleeve is, line that up with your shoulder seam, and then line up the sleeve seam with your side seam, and then you can pin your sleeve all around in the armhole. Done. The dress is all put together, and before I put the band on the front part and the elastic on the back waist, I'm gonna make my lining, because I don't know if I want to put one thing first or the other first. So when I have my lining, I can see if I want to put the band on first and then the lining, or the lining first and then the band. So that's the only thing we have to do. And of course hemming the sleeves and the bottom of the dress. But it's very easy because this doesn't fray. I don't even have to do a double hem. I just fold it in a centimeter and sew it off, and then the hemming is done. So that's very easy. But first we make the lining, and I use my basic pattern of the top, of course, again, and I marked how I want the lining to be, and I want to make it like a tank top style. So I made, I don't know if you can see it, I did it just with a pencil. I made my neck hole a bit lower, but then I saw my opening of the dress is very low, because we have that crossover effect, so it ends here. So I'm gonna cut it somewhere here, I think, and then when it's too high I can also cut it deeper then. So I just make it safe, and then I'll see how low I have to cut my lining, that it doesn't peek out on the top, because that's not nice. So I make the shoulder straps around 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, and then I made also the armhole a bit wider than the basic pattern was. So if you can see it, this is my line for the armhole, and this is the line, well, it will be then till here for the neck hole. And also the back I took a little bit lower, so make whatever you like. I also don't do the waistline in it, I go just straight down that I have enough width. I make it till the waist of my pattern, because the skirt I'll make just the same as I did with the lace, just straight on. Then I can gather it in the front as I did with the lace, and I do with the elastic as I do with the lace in the back. Then I can gather the lace and the lining together. So I'm gonna get that out, put that together. It's very simple, I don't think I have to explain. And then I'm gonna see if I put the lining in first or I put the ribbons on first. And of course I used my famous lining that I use always, and you see I really have lots and lots of them. So I'm very happy that I really bought this in bulk, really bulk. I think I bought 15 meters or so, because it's such a nice lining. You see it is stretchy, it is thin, it is almost sheer, but still it helps to make your garments not see-through. So I'm very happy with this lining. So first I'm gonna hem the top parts together. So put the right sides together, so the 2 shoulder seams and then the 2 side seams, and then I'll see if I'm gonna put the skirt part on this top part, or if I'm gonna attach this to the dress and then the skirt to the dress. I have to see what is nicest and what is easiest to do. I'm not gonna hem or anything these edges. I'm just gonna use my serger to serge it. If you don't have a serger, you can use a zigzag stitch or an overlock stitch on your sewing machine just to finish this, because you don't need there really a bias tape or something to finish it. If it's nicely finished and it doesn't fray, then it's okay. So I put my dress into the lining, and I'm gonna attach the lining here on the shoulder seams and on the waist line. And for the back, I do that when I do it by hand stitching a little bit, and then I put my elastic in to cinch in the waist to the width that I want. And then I'm turn it inside out, and I'm gonna sew the ribbon here on top of the front part on the dress side. So I put my elastic on the back waist, and the other thing I have to do now is to sew on my ribbon on the front, and I marked where the middle is. I'm gonna pin that on the top of the back, then do 2 rows of stitching until the side seams, and the rest I leave loose to tie in the back. And then I haven't made my hems, but as I said, it's very easy. I just, for the sleeves and for the bottom of the skirt, I just fold it in 1 centimeter because it's not fraying. I can just top stitch it, and then it is very easily, nicely hemmed. So those are the last things to do, and then the dress is totally finished. And here's the dress, and I'm so happy how it looks. I keep this fabric for so long because I was afraid that what I wanted to make wouldn't look the way I wanted it, but it looks really nice the way it turned out now. So I'm very happy with the result. I like the ribbons that I attached to them. Also I had all for a long time, and I kept them because I thought they were so beautiful and I didn't want to use it. And now finally I used them all up, and I think it looks really nice. It has the big slit, but it's not falling too much open. It has the lining that it covers enough. This, as you know, is a bit too much for me, but if I can put a camisole underneath, or if I want, I can put it close up a little bit, the pin or whatever. But I think it looks really nice, the lace fabric. It's such a nice fabric, and as I always say, the fabric does it all. So when you see a nice fabric, take it and buy it, because really it doesn't matter if you don't know what to make out of it yet. If you have a nice fabric, it will always be a nice outcome. So I'm very happy with this result. And as you saw in almost the beginning of the video, I tried it on, and what I do when I have done the shoulder seams and sometimes the side seams, sometimes not even the side seams, then I try it on, because the nice thing is then you can see already a bit how it will turn out, and it gives you more motivation to go on with the project. Also when it's turning not that good, or when something is not going the right way, you know what the outcome will be, and it motivates you to go on and to finish your garment. So always when you can have the possibility to try it on, just pin it and try it on, then you see what it will be, and it's really nice to see already. I was very motivated when I saw it. When I tried it on, when I pinned it down. And you don't have to do much, but it's just to have the possibility to see it as a dress on, and I'm very happy with this result. And then for next week's tutorial, I needed a printed jersey, and I promised myself that before I buy new fabrics, first I want to use up half my stash of fabrics that I already have, because I have a lot, and I really want to use them first before I buy new ones. And this was the only print that I had, and you see if the color, it's not really my color anymore, but I thought, well, I have to do it. And then I was looking for a floral, but I couldn't find one. Then I saw this one, and it is a scrap of something I made before. I don't know if it was a YouTube video, but I made an off-the-shoulder top out of this fabric, and that was really nice one, because it's really nice fabric. And I have just about enough to make the thing that I want to make next week. So I think I'm gonna make it out of this fabric and out of that fabric. So I have to do 2 pieces. But I was so happy that I found a floral one, because I really was looking forward to a floral one, and I only had just the chiffons or the cottons, or not the jersey that I needed. So we're gonna make 2 things next week. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe if you like it. Please share it with others. And I'll see you back next week. Have a nice week. Thank you for watching. Bye.